Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get out the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hi there, Destiny here, and I am super excited about our podcast episode today, where I'm going to be walking you through and talking about one of my favorite subjects, and that is turning your hobby and your expertise into an online course. But before we start, I really just want to ask you a question, and that is, have you ever considered that your hobby, the thing that you do for fun in your spare time, could be a valuable source of knowledge for others? Whether you are a master gardener, maybe you are a scrapbooking enthusiast, or a wizard at DIY home decor, your expertise could be the foundation for an engaging and profitable online course. So in this podcast episode, I want to walk you through the process of transforming your hobby into a structured, teachable course that others would be so excited to learn from. Now, before I dive into all the steps, I first want to talk about why creating a course from your hobby is such a great idea. And the first thing is, it gives you the opportunity to share your passion. So teaching others about your hobby allows you to share what you love with a wider audience. Honestly, anybody throughout the world. And that is just crazy to me. The other thing it allows you to do is to monetize your knowledge. The thing I want you to walk away from here is that your expertise has value, and people are willing to pay you to learn from somebody who has mastered a skill like you have. The other thing it allows you to do is to establish authority. Creating a course positions you as an expert in your field and absolutely opens up the door to new opportunities. The other thing creating a course does, it allows you personally to have personal growth. I can tell you, I have created hundreds of courses. I'm actually in the process of creating one right now. It's called Certification in a Box, and it helps people who want to basically create a certification program for their online course. And I have been in higher education for 25 years. I have been in higher education, assistant dean, associate vice chancellor of academic affairs. I've done a lot of accreditation programs. And even as I have gone through this process of creating this course, I have absolutely learned things that I did not even know before. So creating a course deepens your own understanding of your hobby and what you're going to be teaching. The other thing that creating a course does for you, it gives you flexible income, meaning online courses can provide a source of what they call passive income. And I don't really not crazy about that term, because that kind of infers that you don't have to do anything for that income. And that is absolutely not the case. You have to create the course, you have to market the course. However, it is different in that you are not, tied to your desk working on a client project. You're not on Zoom calls all day. So once you create it, you can sell it over and over and over again, which absolutely gives you more freedom to pursue other things and other passions that you have. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty gritty of how to package your hobby knowledge into a course that people will love. And the first step is identifying your teachable skills. Okay. So this is going to require a little bit of self reflection and analysis on your part. So, what I want you to do, and these are your action items, I want you to make a list. I want you to write down everything you do as part of your hobby. Don't leave anything out, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem. Just put it all down on paper. And then I want you to identify your unique skills. So you're going to take a look at your list and highlight any skills or techniques that might be unique to you or that you have perfected over time. And then consider common questions that you get from folks, right? These might be questions that you get from friends or fellow enthusiasts about your hobby. What are people asking you? And then I want you to reflect on your journey. So, what are the most challenging aspects of your hobby when you were just starting out? These could be absolutely valuable teaching points. So, think about where you may have gotten stuck, where you could help people kind of basically avoid those challenges, if you would. And I want to give you a very specific example here. So let's say that your hobby is urban gardening. Your list might include choosing the right plants for small spaces, creating vertical gardens, composting in an apartment, pest control without chemicals, and maximizing gardening fruit or yield in container gardens. So here's a pro tip, and I don't want you to forget this. Don't underestimate the value of your knowledge. So what might seem simple to you might just be absolutely revolutionary to somebody who's just starting out. So remember that you're not just teaching skills, you're also sharing your perspective and your experience there. So you want other people to avoid some of those roadblocks that you ran into when you were just starting out. Okay. Now, in step 2, you're going to be defining your target audience. So that is really just figuring out who you want to teach this information to, right? And who's going to buy your online course. So the thing here is you want to create a course that meets their needs and resonates with what they're interested in learning about. So your action item here is you're going to create what we call in marketing an audience persona. Some people call them ideal customer avatars, and there's other names out there for them. But basically, this is a person that represents your ideal student. So there's a lot of things you can consider here: their age, their background, their motivations, their skill level. You're going to identify their pain points. So what problems or challenges do they face that your course could solve? The other thing you can consider here is their skill level, right? Is your course going to be for beginners or intermediate or advanced type practitioners? And then you're going to research online to get this information, especially if you're like, Destiny, I don't really know. How do I find this out? You're going to look at forums. You're going to go into Facebook groups. You're going to look at Q&A sites related to your hobby. You're going to go on Reddit. You're going to look to see what questions people are asking. Okay, I'm going to give you another very specific example. So continuing with that urban gardening theme, your target audience might include apartment dwellers with limited outdoor space, busy professionals who want low maintenance plants. It could also include eco-conscious individuals who are interested in growing their own food, but maybe they only have a very small space to do it in. Or it could just be complete beginners who are intimidated by gardening, and maybe they just want to start with something small like container gardens or something, on their shelf in their kitchen. So it's okay if you are still trying to figure this out and you might want to narrow it down later. So as you create your course, you're going to find that you might be particularly passionate about teaching a specific subset of your audience, and that's perfectly fine. Now, in step 3, we are going to structure your course content. So now you have a very clear idea of what you're teaching and who you're teaching it to. It's time now to organize your knowledge into a structured step-by-step course. So the first action item that you're going to do is you're going to outline your main topic. So I want you to break your course down into 5 to 7 type lessons, if you would. And then you're going to create them in a very logical flow. So you're going to arrange your topics in a sequence that makes sense for your student who's going to be progressing through this material. Now, as you go through this, for each of your lessons or your topics, I want you to think about how you can include hands-on activities or projects. So just to give you an idea, like in my Course in a Box program, I have extra activities in there that, help students learn how to use AI to create their course outline, how to use AI to help them, put together their course lessons and their course lesson slides. So I have all of those kind of hands-on activities in that particular course. The other thing I want you to think about is, what do your students need to be able to do after completing each lesson? So consider what we call in education their learning outcomes. So let me give you a very specific example here. So going back to our urban gardening course, the structure might look something like this. You can have your first lesson that covers introduction to urban gardening. So in this lesson, you can talk about understanding small space challenges, assessing your available space, and setting realistic goals for that space. Okay. So in the next lesson, it could be like choosing the right plants. So you can talk about the best plants for indoor environments, vegetables that thrive in containers, and understanding light requirements. Okay, moving on to the next lesson, which could cover maximizing small spaces. So in this particular lesson, you can talk about vertical gardening techniques, creating multi-tiered plant displays, and utilizing window sills and balconies effectively. So all of that's tied into that small space theme. In the next one, you can talk about container gardening mastery. So selecting the right containers, proper potting techniques, and then watering and drainage in containers. So all of that's related to container gardening. And then in the last lesson, you can talk about maintenance and troubleshooting. So natural pest control methods, pruning and training plants for small spaces, and diagnosing and treating common plant problems. You can see how all that ties in to that maintenance and troubleshooting. Now, as you structure your content, I want you to think about the promise transformation that you will have for your course. So how will your students' lives be different after taking your course? So that's going to help you focus on the most impactful information as you go through this. Okay. Now, in step 4, I want you to think about choosing the right format. So now that you have your content outline, it's time to kind of decide how you're going to present it to your students. So there's a lot of different things you can think about here, and here are your action items. The first thing I want you to assess is your strengths. So consider what format really plays to your strengths. Are you very comfortable on camera? Do you write well? Also consider your content. Some topics are better suited to certain formats. For example, some techniques might require video demonstration. So going back to the example we have with this urban gardening course, you might have to record yourself doing some of this to show the students exactly what they need to do with some of their containers that they're gardening in. And I'm not an expert in that area, so I might be butchering that, which I'm sure I am. But you're just going to have to think about, what do you need to do and how do you need to deliver the content so that your students can actually learn from you. Also think about your audience and what format they would prefer. So busy professionals, a lot of times they appreciate audio content so they can listen on the go. And quite frankly, that's my preferred method. So I don't really have time to sit there and watch a bunch of videos, but I absolutely love audio content. So here are some things that you can think about. Obviously, video lessons. So this might be you doing them on your screen. So a lot of the courses I'm doing a screen share on my computer, or maybe I am creating presentations and doing a screen share with the presentations where I'm doing voiceovers there. But like in the gardening course, most likely that particular expert would have to set up a video camera, or you can use your phone and just record yourself doing some of those lessons there. Also, written lessons can be very good for in-depth explanations for students who prefer to learn at their own pace. And we talked about audio lessons. They are perfect for concepts that can be explained verbally, or for students who like to learn while multitasking. And that is definitely me. Now, the other thing you can consider is an interactive workshop. So that would be perfect for like a community where you want to interact with them. And honestly, a lot of courses do what we call a hybrid approach. So where they're combining a lot of these different type of formats. Now, I do a lot of audio lessons, video lessons, and written lessons in my courses. So going back to our example there for that urban gardening course, a hybrid approach might work very well for something like that. So they might have some video demonstrations for planting techniques and space optimization. They might have some written guides in there for plant care and troubleshooting. And then obviously they could do some type of interactive workshops for Q&A sessions and community building. So lots of opportunities there. The only thing that I don't want you to worry about is being pressured to use any fancy production techniques. Nobody cares. You don't have to hire a production firm to come in to film you doing anything. Nobody wants anything that fancy, quite frankly, and authenticity often matters a lot more than a polished production. So your students are there for knowledge. They're not interested in Hollywood level video quality. Okay. So I just want to throw that out there and get that out of the way. Now, in step 5, you are going to create a compelling course description here. So the final step in packaging your passion is crafting a course description that will attract and excite your potential students. So this is your opportunity and your chance to showcase the value of your course and convince people to sign up. So your action items here, I want you to highlight the benefits. So focus on what students will gain from the course, not what just they will learn. And I want you to use some engaging language here. And you can use AI to help you put this together. So you're going to write it in a way that resonates with your target audience and really does reflect your teaching style. The other thing I want you to do is be very, very specific. So clearly outline what your course covers and what your students will achieve. And make sure that you are addressing their pain points. So show that your course solves their problems and fills the desires that your audience have. And if you have any social proof, which you might not have in the very initial beginning, but if you do, you're going to include them in here. All right, so let me give you a very, very specific example. So we're going to go back to that urban gardening course that I have. So a possible title for here would be Urban Oasis, Master the Art of Small Space Gardening. Okay. And then it starts in, are you yearning for a lush green space, but feel limited by your urban environment? Urban Oasis is your key to transforming any small space space from tiny balconies to windowsills into a thriving garden. Wow, that just really kind of hit upon the pain points, right? And then you go on to say, in this comprehensive course, you'll learn how to choose the perfect plants for your unique space and lifestyle, maximize every inch with clever container and vertical gardening techniques. I want to sign up now. And then grow your own fresh organic produce. Yes, even in an apartment. And then troubleshoot common urban gardening challenges with eco-friendly solutions. Whether you're a complete beginner or have a few sad houseplants you're trying to revive, this course will equip you with the knowledge and confidence to create your urban oasis. Through video demonstrations, detailed guides, and live Q&A sessions, you'll join a community of urban gardeners and watch your space transform in just 6 weeks. So there you go. So your pro tip here is to read your course description aloud. Does it flow naturally? Does it get you excited? If it energizes you, it's most likely going to resonate with your potential students. So here you go. Transforming your hobby into a course is more than just a way to make money. That's a really good benefit from it, but it is an opportunity to share your passion, connect with others, and contribute to a community of learners. So we talked about the 5 steps, which is identifying your teachable skills, defining your target audience, who you're actually going to be selling to, how to structure your course content, and you can definitely use AI to help you with that, choosing the right format. A lot of you are going to do a combination of maybe written, audio, and video. You're going to create a compelling course title and name and description. And then once you do all of this, you are well on your way to packaging your passion into a course that could impact the lives and possibly even change your own. So I just want to kind of leave you with this thought that the world definitely needs your unique knowledge and perspective. And I know that you have it out there. Your hobby just isn't a pastime. It's a valuable skill set that others are eager to learn. I know there's a ton of hobbies out there that I'm interested in learning more about that, even myself. So I want you to take that first step, start planning your course, and get ready to share your passion with the world. And who knows, your hobby course might just be the beginning of an exciting new chapter in your life and in a new business. I want you to leave you with this. Happy teaching. Definitely online courses have changed my life, and I continue to, create them for my audience as we need. You had any questions about creating an online course, please reach out to me. You can respond back to any of the emails that I've had. If you're not on the Hobby School newsletter, I will include that link below so you can get in touch with me. And that is definitely the best way to get in touch with me. And I also leave the link for my personal brand where I help digital product entrepreneurs create and launch their digital product businesses. So bye for now, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free Hobby School Online Learning Summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to hobbyschool.com, and that's Hobby School with school without an H in it. Talk soon.